The deal didn't die because of your competitor. It died in a room you were not allowed in, and your champion could not save it. So you just had a perfect call. They were nodding, they said, "This is exactly what we need." They told you they'd take it to the team. And then, nothing. A week goes by, then two. Still working on getting everyone aligned. But here's what most sellers conclude. The champion went cold, they lost interest, and the deal is slipping. And that's the wrong diagnosis. And acting on the wrong diagnosis is exactly what kills the deal. Because your champion didn't lose conviction, they lost something else entirely, and once you see it, you'll never run a deal the same way. So let's be precise about what exactly happened in that room after you left. The champion walked into an internal meeting, maybe with their VP, maybe with finance, maybe with procurement lead. They barely talked to, and then they tried to explain why your solution matters. But they're not you. They didn't see through your discovery. They don't have your framing, your proof points, your way of connecting the problem to the cost of inaction. They just have a memory of being very impressed, and that's it. And "I was impressed" does not survive contact with a CFO. So when you tell yourself that the champion went quiet, what really happened is they tried to sell you, got a few hard questions they could not answer, and quietly retreated. And not because they stopped believing, because they got exposed. And that's not a conviction problem, it's a translation problem. You sell in seller language. Your champion has to resell you in CFO language, and nobody gave them the dictionary. So think about how you talk in a deal. You talk about capabilities, outcomes, the pain you solve, the vision of after. That language works on a champion because the champion feels the pain. They live it. Your words land emotionally. Now, put that same champion in front of a CFO. The CFO does not feel the pain. What a CFO feels is risk. Their questions are not, "Does it solve our problem?" They are more, "What does this actually cost us over 3 years? Fully loaded. What happens if it doesn't work? Who owns that? And why now? What breaks if we wait 2 quarters? What are we not funding if we fund this?" And your champion has none of those answers. You never give them those answers because you and the champion never spoke that language together. You spoke about pain and outcomes, and the CFO speaks about cost, risks, and trade-offs. So the champion stands there, the person who was so convinced, and goes silent. And the deal dies in a room you were not even in. And if you think that a better follow-up email fixes this, it doesn't. The fix happens way earlier than you'd expect. So stay with me because I'm going to show you exactly where. So now I want to be direct because this is the part that changes behavior. When the internal sell fails, sellers blame the champion. They were not senior enough, or they didn't fight for us, they went dark. But you picked the champion. You armed that champion. Or rather, you didn't. And that's a truth that really hurts. A champion is only as strong as the business case you built with them. If you handed them enthusiasm and a deck, you handed them a weapon they don't know how to fire. So the best sellers I work with don't think of their job as selling or convincing someone. They think of it as prepare my champion to win a meeting I will never attend. And that's the entire shift you need to make. You are not selling to the room. You are equipping someone else to sell to the room in the language you have to teach them. So just a quick one. If this is reframing how you think about your deals, just subscribe to this channel. I break down the psychology of complex B2B deals every week. And this is the stuff nobody teaches you on the floor. So let's get back to it. So here's how you arm them. 3 moves. Move 1, you build a case with them out loud. Before the deal ever goes internal, you say to your champion, when you take this to the CFO or to procurement, they're going to ask you 4 things. Let's make sure you can answer all 4 called. Then you walk through cost, risk, timing, and trade-off, all together. And you're not just informing them, you are here rehearsing them. Because the first time your champion says these numbers out loud should be with you and not in front of finance. And that's only the first move. The next one is where most sellers go wrong. They hand over the wrong document entirely. Move 2, you need to give them a one-page internal case, not your sales deck. Your deck is built to sell. This internal document has to be built to defend, to support the decision. It's a completely different job. One page, it has the cost of doing nothing, the fully loaded investment, the expected return with a conservative and an aggressive number, and one line on what risk you're absorbing for them. The reason it's one page is simple. A CFO will read one page. A CFO will not read your 12-slide deck, and neither will your champion when they're nervous. So move number 3 is to name the trade-off before finance does. And that's an advanced move. So if you remember one thing from this video, make it this one. Every yes is a no to something else. If your champion can say what, you won't get funded if you do. Finance assumes they haven't thought it through, and the whole thing reads as naive. So if you have your champion say this first. Funding this means we delay the X initiative by a quarter. And here's why that's the right call. When the champion names the trade-off proactively, they stop sounding like a salesperson's puppet and start sounding like someone whose thought is like an owner. And that's the moment the CFO will lean in. Not because the product got better. It's because the case got adult. So let's go back to that silence. The next time a champion says, this is exactly what we need, and then goes quiet, don't read it as a lost interest. Read it as a champion who walked into a CFO's office holding seller language and got asked CFO questions. The fix was never a better follow-up email. The fix happens before they ever go internal. You build a case with them. You hand them one page they can defend. And you help them name the trade-off out loud. You're not closing the deal. You're making your champion impossible to corner. So here's the one line to live with. Your deal does not die in the room you're in. It dies in the room you're not. So prepare the person you'll be standing in that room. If you want the actual one-page internal case template I built with clients, I'll put a link below. It's how I work with sellers running complex deals. If this reframes something for you, the next video breaks down who in the room actually has veto power. And it's usually the person saying the least. I'll see you there.